Astrology Time, Shane here, dailyastrocat.com. Today is Saturday, the 11th of April. So let's go, shall we? Look, the moon's going to be in Aquarius all day long. So, feeling a little bit rebellious? Yeah, for a reason too, right? Yeah, look, a focus. It's going to be in Aquarius all day long, so you're going to be feeling a little bit on the unique side. No collar, right? Yep, just going with it, right? So let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about Aquarian things. Let's talk about freedom. Let's talk about society in general. Let's talk about, what we're going to do to change things up, being innovative and being inventive in a wildly inventive way, right? Aquarius, right? Yeah, we get to let our flags fly. We get to do the things we want to do. There's some freedom that's there. There's some. There's also some. We have to know the rules in order to break them. Sometimes we can break the rules without even knowing them, right? Because they change the rules all the time. So who is they? Well, let's find out. So, a focus on the social aspects of this modern life, although it is warranted and germane to this astrology, is actively discouraged in extant arenas of social discourse. Do you need me to say that again? Actually, just follow the transcript. That might be good. Yesterday's video was throttled. That's a nice way of putting it, right? Please visit my profile and look at my views over the last 2 weeks and compare them with the last couple of days. Now go back and listen to yesterday's episode, the one that I recorded for 410. Okay? I seem to have touched a nerve to the bots. I touched a nerve, right? An oligarchic kind of nerve. And now the bots, they're on to me because they're like, throttled. Nope, not going beyond this point. Okay. It's up to all of us to be able to try to get over this, right? Because the algorithms and stuff like that are not going to push content that they think is controversial, even though it's really not. I mean, we're just basically talking about Pluto being in Aquarius and what the ramifications are of that long-term and short-term, and especially with Mars coming into a conversation with that Pluto being in Aquarius, and now the moon is in Aquarius and is conjunct with Pluto, and is going to be sextile all the planets that are in Aries over the course of the next couple of days. So there's a reason for talking about this stuff. There's a reason for talking about social unrest, for lack of a better word, and a dissatisfaction with the status quo that's beginning to really show in, even mainstream headlines, which is very, very unusual because the press seems to be suppressed. That's the best way I can put it, right? Now, what else do we got going on? Well, look, today's astrology is the vague and cloaked way that I open this up is purposely kind of like meant to throw off the bots in some way. Don't know if I'm going to have to rely on that kind of cloaked language all the time, but if we have to, we have to. Pretty much today is going to be the last that I'm going to talk about this particular aspect of Pluto and Mars and that dynamic between them. Because, quite honestly, I like the trajectory of growth I've been on, and it feels to me like going backwards when I get banhammered on that stuff, right? In other words, there seems to be a mode there, okay? Look, today's astrology, though, this day, is a big middle finger to the adherents of this unjust, heavy-handed de facto censorship by alleged free speech adherents. We are set to begin working on alternative ways to express ourselves. That's what we're going to do, right? And that may very well come into fruition with Uranus entering Gemini. One of you may come up with an alternative to this platform right here. One of you may come up to an alternative to another kind of platform. You haven't done it yet. let me know when you do, okay? So that would be good, because then I can start posting content on that. That'd be kind of fun, right? We are set to begin working on this, okay? And we have to find ways to express ourselves, because it's the moon in Aquarius, right? This is what we do. It's Mars. It's taking that action. It's that action that we are undergoing right now and just moving forward with. So, with that being said, let's see if they can keep up with us now, okay? Let's just try, okay? This is the equivalent of intellectual weight training, okay? We're getting there. And today's keyword is mythic. There's a mythic sense that this is, that what we're doing and what we're putting content on is a free speech platform. It is not, okay? It is not. And, and it's not because we are advocating something that's violent or looking to overturn something or anything like that. That's baked into the astrology, okay? That is going to change whether the powers that be want it to or not. That change is already there. The only constant we have in astrology is that change, that pace of change, the cycles within cycles, the changes that occur from season to season, from day to day. The position of the planets constantly are changing. So, with that being said, our color is periwinkle, kind of a blue, right? It's important. Just remember that. Now, it is, of course, no surprise that we've run afoul of the dominant paradigm. Just telling you. You're probably feeling it in other ways, too. I want to tell you all about it, yet doing so would further restrict my ability to freely speak on so-called free speech platforms. Why are they so sensitive? I just told you that. Why am I feeling rebellious? I just told you that, too. The astrological answer, however, is very curious, because there is, where is the Black Moon Lilith? Oh, Black Moon Lilith is sitting in Sagittarius. Guess where she's at? 12 degrees Sagittarius. Remember I told you about numbers and gates and portals and stuff like that? 1212 is an important one at the end of the year. Now, this is look, it's a point of expansion, and it has unlimited potential, because I told you that the other day. I said that we had indications that the Sagittarius season would be a time for us to come into some growth, come into some abundance, right? It's where Black Moon Lilith is sitting. She doesn't take no for an answer very easily. She won't be told what to do. That is desire. That is where we want to be able to manifest this stuff, because that is where we're going to maximize our return. Now, it's 12 degrees Sagittarius. Now, consider this just a place marker, okay? Because the sun will actually cross this point right around 12:3. But right around the 12:12 portal, you can see that there's 12:3, 12:12, 12:3, 2026. All sorts of factors of 12 in there, right? The only thing we're missing is the 4. Okay, now, the sun's going to cross this point. Now, what does it mean for all of us? Well, you'll have Mercury, you'll have Venus, because they never stray too far from the sun, right? They'll be there as well. And you'll have the moon there at some point also. So, what does it mean? It means keep on doing the things you love to do. Organic growth, that's slow and relentless. We don't have to really rely on stuff like that, right? I mean, God, I was driving today and all I see is billboards for lawyers and lawyers and lawyers, right? There's a reason for that, right? That's because they're just trying to keep on getting their name out there. It used to not be that way back in the day. We used to have cigarette advertisements instead of lawyer advertisements. Just saying. Replace one with another, something like that. Not that I'm against lawyers. I just that every so many miles, seeing lawyer makes you think we live in a very litigious society, and it's not really a way for us to be able to move forward from a higher elevational standpoint, right? Mm-hmm. Now, be a legend and support causes that Mars and Pluto are going to stand up for. Seriously, just do that. It's the right thing to do. Now, the moon in Aquarius is conjunct Pluto and sextile Mars, Saturn, and Neptune. Quickly, we can see this Aries season has taken us down a complicated path that's leading us into a conflict with special interests. These special interests are losing their grip, and in their desperation, they're doing things that we would have thought unimaginable to try to prop up the entities that they serve, right? What do they serve? This conflict is playing out on a cosmic scale. Try to separate the moral aspects of this from the politics of it, okay? Serve the greater good and not those who would bend their knee to Mammon. Mammon's back, right? That was that what the editors back in the day when journalism was wild and crazy would call the robber barons of the late 1800s, right? The 19th century robber barons. Yep, they were serving Mammon. And the Mammon is the embodiment of greed, right? Greed, sloth. Now, the moon sextile Saturn tonight is demanding a more mature approach to the problem than I have been outlining. Well, it seems like our hands may be tied. Help is on the way once Uranus is in Gemini to stay. The pace of astrological change is going to quicken, and a new crop of leaders is going to emerge. Now, my only question is, I already asked this, is it you? Okay, so that's a lot to say, right? Now, in 1783, hostilities formally cease in the American Revolutionary War after the Continental Congress proclaims the cessation of arms against His Britannic Majesty. This is just in case you were wondering, right? This date in 1783. And our birth is in 1935. There's a gentleman by the name of Father Abraham. His name is Pierre Cartner, and he's a Dutch singer-songwriter who's famous for the Smurfs song. Oh, speaking of Periwinkle. Okay. He's born in Elst in the Netherlands, and he died in 2022, and that is all I have for you. So, let's recap, shall we? Our color is Periwinkle, and the keyword is mythic. So, be mythic, okay? Just help promote what it is that we do here, and develop that platform. Let's get on it, right? There's a lot of stuff called for here. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Thank you for sticking with me. And we already recapped, so let's do this. Today's a 5. Happy astrocatting.